and welcome to my channel. My name is Bettina Ray. The little guy here that you see is Luca. He is 4 weeks old. So this video today is just going to be an early postnatal yoga flow that you can do with Bub in arms. And the reason I'm not getting into any baby wearing yoga just yet, it will definitely come, is because at this early stage, I really don't think wearing your baby whilst recovering and starting to move in your body is a really great idea. I think when we wear our babies, we tend to overcompensate with our own body. So to keep them asleep, we might risk hurting our back or our core. And I think at this early stage, the focus should really be on about starting to get back into your own body, feeling strong again, strengthening, especially around the pelvis, which has opened up so much during pregnancy. And also I think it's important to remember that if you're breastfeeding, your body is still producing that relaxin hormone. So it's still quite loose and open. You can injure joints and things like that by stretching too much. So we really want to keep it nice and gentle. If you are a little bit further along in your postnatal journey, so maybe your bub is a bit older, I do have some baby wearing classes. I'll link them above. Otherwise, if this is your first practice after having your baby, huge congratulations. It's such a special time. Remember, when you're getting back into a yoga practice with a new baby, it's a different kind of practice than the one that you probably were used to beforehand, before you had kids. It involves a whole lot of surrendering to this might be your entire practice. The whole time that you're on your mat, you may just sit and breathe and maybe just close your eyes and be aware of your whole body. That may end up being your entire practice if all Bub wants to do is feed. You need to go nice and gently if it's your first practice, because remembering your body has done a whole lot in the last 9 or 10 months, probably still is doing a whole lot now. Everything is changing and rearranging. And allow yourself time to get to know your new body, because it is a new, different body, slowly, and allow yourself to strengthen and rebuild those muscles slowly, not feel like you need to jump back into what your practice looked like before you had your baby. So we're just going to start with a little bit of a body scan today. So whether you've got a baby who's feeding, or whether you've got a baby asleep beside you, or maybe you're just on your mat by yourself because Bub is asleep in another room. So I want you to close your eyes down, find a comfortable position to sit, or if you prefer and won't fall asleep, you can lie down. So close down the eyes. See if you can lengthen out the body a little bit more. So if you're lying, inch those toes away a little, draw the shoulder blades into the mat or the floor. If you're sitting, maybe roll the shoulders back and down. Especially if you've got a Bub in arms, we tend to end up like this. And I know I'm so guilty of that, but you can actually just lift Bub up a little and draw the shoulders back and down. Didn't appreciate that being moved. Just breathing into the body, lengthening out that spine. Really lengthening out the breath, telling your body it's okay to calm down. It's okay to relax. Just noticing any parts of your body that feel tight or hold tension. See if you can breathe into those spaces, relaxing and softening. Perhaps also noticing any parts of you that feel different to before, and not in a judgmental way, not judging how your body is no longer the same or is ruined or anything like that, because just look down at that little baby and know that every change that your body has gone through has been worth it, but just noticing and appreciating your body for what it is now. So perhaps noticing the parts of your body that now feed and nourish your new baby. So those little extra pockets of fat maybe that you're holding on to. Recognize them as the food that is going to feed your baby over the next couple of months, rather than wishing it away, wishing you could be back in your regular body. And then gently opening the eyes back up. If you are lying, come to have a seat. Take the legs nice and wide. So as wide as you can, still sitting up tall in the spine, drawing the toes back towards you. And just pressing the thighs down into the mat, so really getting a beautiful stretch through the legs, through the inner thighs. Keep that spine nice and long by lifting the crown of the head towards the sky. If it feels okay, you can gently lean forward. I'm not going to be able to go very far. It's been quite a few weeks since I did any yoga and I'm feeling quite stiff. And then inhale slowly, draw the feet back in towards each other. And if you've got a sleeping bub, or even an awake bub, see if you can lie them down, just putting their head in your feet. Mine doesn't sleep for very long. And just a little butterfly with the knees, a little flutter up and down. Just kind of releasing through that inner thigh. And then gently release the knees down, maybe even pressing them down slightly. If it feels good, you can lean forward. And keep that breathing long, slow, and deep. Releasing back up, taking one hand down, take a big breath in, up and over. Oh, that feels so good after being hunched over, and the opposite side. And coming back to center, interlacing the hands behind you, draw them down, shift the gaze to the ceiling. Excuse all the little grunts that are happening. Reach one hand down behind the back and the other hand, see if you can find the fingers behind you. If you can't quite find them, you can just stay with the elbow drawing it down. And then release the arms. You don't enjoy? So remember, you need to do whatever you need to do to make sure Bub is happy, to make sure that you feel happy. So if you need to take a break at any time to feed, or maybe stop and pause and come back to that, it's all yoga. You can do whatever you need to do. Find the opposite side. Again, maybe finding the fingertips. Excuse you, Luca. Or finding the elbow. Keep breathing. Release the arms. Bring them together in front of you. Palms together. Reach the hands up. Drop the shoulders down. Beautiful stretch across the top of the arms. And then taking one leg out in front of you, doing whatever you need with Bub to keep them happy, and just a little gentle forward fold, so really stretching into that front hamstring. Hey. And then slowly coming back up. Take the other leg out in front. So sitting tall in the spine and gently folding forwards. He's literally asleep like this, but as soon as I put him down, he'll wake straight back up. All right, bring that leg back in. We're going to come onto hands and knees. So if Bub is happy, they can just lie on the mat in front of you. I don't know that mine will be. Oh, amazing disappearing baby. Don't worry, he's just gone for a little nap in the other room. So I want you to come onto hands and knees. Bring the hands under the shoulders, the knees under the hips. And you'll notice if you completely relax through the core, if you're early postnatal like me, it will completely hang. That's totally normal. After all, your baby was in there not too long ago, so don't expect it to come back immediately. And you can retrain those muscles to come back in, which is what we're starting to do today. So if you notice that there's no core activation, it's just gently hanging, I want you to gently draw the belly in towards the spine. So there's no other movement other than that belly drawing in and up. And then I also want you to engage the pelvic floor. So I want you to feel like you're drawing the muscles of the pelvic floor in towards you. And then I want you to gently release. And again, gently draw them in. So it's a really small movement. You may not be able to see anything, connecting your mind back to these muscles that you may not have used in quite a while and you may not feel so comfortable with at the moment, depending on how your birth went, how you felt physically at the end of your pregnancy. And then just really gently inhale, lift the tail and the head. And exhale, round through the spine. One more inhale. And exhale. Inhale. And exhale. And gently release. Coming down onto the back, we're going to finish on the back. Just doing some more connection through the core, especially the lower abdominals, the pelvic floor, and a little bit of the hips. So remembering your core is not strong, you shouldn't just roll on back. You should pretend like you're still pregnant, using that arm to support you to come. I want you to bring the feet in towards the hips, so you should be able to touch the heels. And then just gently draw the low back into the floor. So you sort of tilt the pelvis back towards you, and that gap underneath the back disappears. As you exhale, gently let one leg fall to the side, so pelvic floor, core is engaged, and then inhale, draw it back up. Exhale, release the other leg over. So it may feel like such a small thing, but these muscles are starting to work again. Especially if you've had any pelvic instability, this is really going to help to make sure that you're starting to strengthen them back up. So you'll probably feel the glute working to draw it back in, maybe the hip, other side. One more on each side, letting one leg fall out. So engaging core and pelvic floor, drawing the knee back in, and the other side. And then with the feet flat on the floor, engage the core, engage the pelvic floor, slowly tilt the pelvis towards you, press into the feet and gently lift the hips up. So see if you can move one vertebrae at a time as you exhale and roll down. So starting to really connect back in with the body. You probably find there's some little stiff points in your back. Often we get quite tight, especially if we're feeding or looking down at bub all the time. Inhale, slowly rolling back up. And we're not coming up too high. It's not a particularly strong bridge. It's just moving through that spine, reconnecting with the core and the pelvic floor. One more of these, inhale. And exhale. Just take the arms away from the body, stretch the legs out, stretch the entire body out. Hug both knees back into the chest. Side, we just take a really gentle spinal twist. So look away from the legs. And then all the way. Thank you for joining us for this early postnatal yoga class that you can do with Bub in your arms. I think it's really important to get back into some physical movement, even if it's just little 2-minute snatches of time that you can get in between a fussy baby or a baby that wants to be constantly held. It will make you feel better, just that really quick, gentle stretch out. Little bit of core activation, starting to activate that pelvic floor again, will help you on the road to recovery. And when you're ready for some more full-on exercise, so maybe going for some longer walks or a stronger yoga class, these early little practices are going to help your body feel better and stronger when you get to those other classes. If you haven't already, I would love if you would subscribe to my channel. It really helps me out. Give me a thumbs up. Leave me a comment if you've practiced this yoga class with your bub. Let me know how old they are and what their name is, because I always love to know who is practicing along at home. Otherwise, I'll see you in the next video. Namaste.